doing a reading. Oh, okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Peaceful Nick the Medium. I'm going to be talking tonight about does science prove mediumship is real? And it looks like the live stream is working. So, if you want to join me on YouTube, I would appreciate that because that's where I'm going to be moving most of my content for lives. So if anybody is on here, has any questions, please let me know. I will be talking about the physics of consciousness. I will be talking about the field. I will be talking about you are the universe and the afterlife frequency. So these are some of the books I have read, and I have several articles linked. I can link them below in the description of the live on my YouTube channel, and I will read the titles. By SciTech Daily, Unlocking the Secrets of Consciousness. New brain imaging study illuminates critical connections. By Futurism, the physicists say the entire universe might be a neural network. That's like the network in your brain. Of course, I have a pop-up ad on this one. SciTech Daily, groundbreaking study affirms quantum basis for consciousness, a paradigm shift in understanding human nature. From Popular Mechanics, your very own consciousness can interact with the whole universe, scientists believe. Hello, mediumship. Hi, Sharon. If you could come over to my YouTube channel, that would be great. From Science Alert, quantum experiment reveals light existing in dozens of dimensions. Another pop-up ad. From the Economic Times, scientists link human consciousness to a higher dimension beyond our perception. And Stuart Hameroff is the co-founder and director for Center of Consciousness Studies at the University of Arizona. And so those are the things I'm going to be talking about tonight. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Melody. Thank you for coming over here. I know I'm kind of smacking. I just talked for an hour straight in a reading, and so my throat's a little dry. You guys all know, if you've ever watched me do live before, an hour's where I max out for my voice. You'd think as a teacher, I'd be able to talk all day long. But when you get older. Hi, Diana. I'm also on YouTube if you'd like to join me there. I appreciate any subscriptions. It's free. It's totally free. Likes and shares. Ask me any questions you have about science and mediumship. So this book, You Are the Universe, is by Deepak Chopra and Mena C. Kafatos. Deepak Chopra, everybody should probably know who he is. He's pretty famous. He's a healer, but he's also a medical doctor. I don't know if everybody knows that. And Mena C. Kafatos is a PhD. And so that means he's a doctor. It's just a different kind of doctor. So this book is saying you are the universe. I'm just going to read some of the quotes. I mean, I could literally just sit here and read this whole book. I have so many highlights and markings in this book. I don't know if you can see the highlighter on the screen. It talks about the double slit experiment. I'm just trying to look through my notes here. Subatomic particles bring space and time with them. That's on page 85 of this book. So the thing with science and mediumship is we are made of matter. Okay? I'm going to get my notepad because as a teacher, I like to use, notes. And I have a whiteboard. I just don't know where it is. Okay, so we are made of matter. So I'm going to make a little human. We're made of matter. Okay. Hi, Patricia. Humans are made of matter. I'm on YouTube. I would appreciate if you went over there and watch from there and sub. That would be awesome. But if you want to stay here, that's fine too. Matter is made of atoms. Atoms have protons and neutrons in the nucleus and electrons in the outer shell. Shell or shells. Most have shells. Protons and neutrons in the nucleus and electrons in the outer shells. Now, these particles that make up the atoms have subatomic particles inside of them. So protons and neutrons and electrons have other particles inside them, subatomic particles. Gluons, quarks, leptons, all these other particles inside them. Inside those particles, and inside, you get smaller and smaller and smaller, are waves of motion, strings, if you will, vibrating pieces of energy. They're not solid matter. They're made of energy. So inside, let's just say protons, are other particles. Quarks can be 2 up and 1 down, 1 up and 2 down. So we've got our quarks inside the proton. Inside the quark is subatomic energy. And this is going to look sloppy on the screen. So now we are, person's made of matter, matter's made of atoms with protons, neutrons, and electrons. Inside a proton, we have subatomic particles. Inside the subatomic particles, we have energy. Okay? Energy cannot be created or destroyed. Hi, Amy. I'm over on YouTube if you want to watch me there. I'm going to be showing the screen, but feel free to stay here if you like. Hi, Elise. Nothing is solid. Molecules moving quickly, entangling themselves. You're brilliant. Thank you so much. So this is what I've studied for decades. Decades and decades. So we feel solid, but really we are made of energy. Our consciousness is made of energy. Our soul is made of energy. Our soul, I'm going to draw another picture. Hi. Our soul, so here's a human again with a smiley face. Our soul is made of matter, which we just learned is made up of energy. And our soul lives inside our body. And it can come and go as it pleases. It doesn't stay there forever. Our body is made of matter, which is made up of energy. Our soul is pure energy, and it inhabits our body. Now, scientists cannot find where consciousness resides in our brain. They have looked. Hi, Shannon. Feel free to come over to YouTube and watch if you'd like. They have looked for consciousness, and they cannot find it because it's non-local to our body. And so there are articles, scientific studies on that. Our consciousness and our soul, which I use interchangeably, is non-local to our body. And is this, oh yeah, it's backwards, I'm sorry. Non-local. It doesn't stay in our body. It is not attached permanently to our body. That's why when someone passes away, their soul can leave their body and communicate with you the day before they pass away or immediately after they pass away. People who have neurological diseases, are in a coma, have dementia, Alzheimer's, those types of things, their soul kind of comes and goes. It doesn't stay in the body. They'd be super bored if it stayed in the body. So our soul is non-local, okay? It is not permanently attached. And then we have our oversoul. Our oversoul is all of the information from all of the lives we've ever lived, okay, connected to one soul. So if this is 1786, this is 1822, and this is 1987, and this is all one soul, it's all connected to one oversoul. All the information from all these lives is here. A tiny little piece of your soul goes into each person, but is always connected to the oversoul. So that's just a teeny tiny bit of what we're going to talk about tonight. Please, please, please put questions in the chat. I want to answer them. Don't feel embarrassed or weird about it. So again, for those of you just joining, You Are the Universe. Screenshot it if you need to. The Field by Lynn McTaggart. The Physics of Consciousness by Ivan Antic. And The Afterlife Frequency by Mark Anthony. So if you're interested in these things, these are some of the books I've read. They're incredible. Absolutely incredible. So The Afterlife Frequency, I happened upon this accidentally on a YouTube video, actually. And it is Mark Anthony. I think he's a lawyer who turned medium. He has coined the term I'm tired, I've had a long day. The electromagnetic soul. And this book, it's almost as if, and I've said this before about this book, it's almost as if this book was written with my brain, because so much in it is exactly what I've been saying for so many years. Yeah, I know, Mandy. I know. Thank you, though. I'm glad you're here, honey. Do you have any questions? Mandy's also a scientist. So this book talks, I'm trying to find a good quote out of this book because there's so many. Ooh, this is a great question, and I want you guys to answer in the chat. What came first, consciousness or the brain? Discuss. What came first, consciousness or the brain? That's on page 23 of this book. So what do you guys think came first? So let me know in the chat. He says, consciousness is the term used by philosophers and psychologists to describe the unique sense of self that separates one from everything else in existence. It gives each of us our individuality and contains the attributes that bestow us with our uniqueness. Consciousness encompasses more than mere self-awareness and the ability to perceive and interact with the material world dimension. Quantum physics, there's a logical explanation for the existence of the soul, the afterlife, spirit communication, and synchronicity, which can be explained through quantum physics. Mary said consciousness. Mandy said consciousness. The brain is a material thing. Consciousness is energy. Therefore, consciousness came before the brain. I agree. I agree completely. Hi, Lori and Missy. I'm on YouTube if you want to come over there and subscribe. I'm trying to build that platform. I would love it. We're talking about Science Proves Mediumship is Real. I'm trying to skip the boring parts. I mean, it's not boring, but it's not necessary. So he developed the term electromagnetic soul, again, the afterlife frequency. Hindus refer to it as the Atman. According to tradition in the Middle East, and then he goes through all of that. It talks about reincarnation. Each living being is a continuity or stream of consciousness that flows from one life to the next. And he goes on, and this is an incredible book if you're interested in quantum physics. So, the difference between biology and physics is irrelevant at the subatomic level. Remember, I just showed you the subatomic level here. The subatomic level, it's all energy. So we're made of atoms that are made of energy. So there is no difference between physics and biology when you get down to that point. The brain no more creates the electromagnetic soul than a light bulb creates the electricity that flows through it. Okay, so think about that. I love that quote. So scientists who are only looking at material things try to say that consciousness must be part of the brain. Okay? But we who work in the spiritual realm know that that's not accurate. Okay? And this quote is explaining the analogy of consciousness, the brain no more creates the electromagnetic soul or consciousness than a light bulb creates the electricity. So I have lamps here on my desk. Hi, Ray. And the lamps have a light bulb. The light bulb is lit. I have the lamps turned on. But the light from the light bulb is not generating the electricity coming through the wire, right? Those are two separate things, okay? Cause and effect. Okay, so afterlife frequency, if you're interested. Let's see. Right now, so we're just having a little class. So I wish I could share screen on here. New brain imaging study illuminates critical connections. So unlocking the secrets of consciousness. This is an article. Researchers identified a subcortical brain network that is thought to combine awareness and arousal, playing a key role in human consciousness. So that's on SciTech Daily, if you're interested in that. Pop-ups. Scientists link human consciousness to beyond our perception. Physicist Michael Pravica proposes a theory suggesting that human consciousness connects to hidden dimensions beyond our perception. Exactly why I always say science proves mediumship is real. He argues that in moments of heightened awareness, such as creativity or dreaming, or, in my opinion, raising your awareness to connect to spirit, consciousness may access these higher planes, which is exactly what I've been saying all along. While the theory has sparked interest, it faces skepticism within the scientific community. So I want to talk about the scientific community for a moment. What happened? Am I still live over here? Let me know if I'm still live. I can't see that I'm live. Can somebody on YouTube tell me if I'm still live? It says I am, but it's not showing that I am. Hi, I'm on YouTube live, but you're more than welcome to stay here, but I do appreciate if you sub over there. Anybody on YouTube? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Kelly. I don't know why it looks weird. Okay, so I want to talk about scientists, and I work with a lot of scientists through my work in science communication and education. And sometimes scientists are very close-minded. And Scientists should be the least closed-minded people in the world. They should be the least closed-minded because you are supposed to follow the evidence through the scientific method. So the scientific method, which is what I decided to use when I became a medium, the scientific method is you observe something, you ask a question about it, you create a hypothesis, you do an experiment, you repeat the experiment, and you follow the evidence where it leads you. And so that's what I did with my mediumship. That's exactly what I did, and that's why I'm a medium now, because I followed the scientific method. Now, some scientists are very much materialist. It's if I can't touch it, if I can't feel it, if I can't look at it, I can't explain it, so I dismiss it. That's a very closed-minded way of looking at things. And we shouldn't look at things that way as scientists. If you repeat a pattern and other people do the same experiment, you should follow that evidence, not dismiss it because you don't want to believe it. And that's what a lot of scientists do. When it comes to the edges of scientific inquiry, the physical bordering on metaphysical. Neil deGrasse Tyson said in an interview talking about quantum entanglement in quantum physics, quantum particles. He said it's, how did he say? I don't want to get it wrong, but it's something to the effect of bordering on the spiritual. It's magical, bordering on the spiritual, something like that. And I was like, yeah, exactly. It's definitely on the spiritual end. Hi, Sandy. I'm on YouTube if you want to go over there, but you're more than welcome to stay here. So I have it in one of my videos on my TikTok page. So if you have any questions, please ask. I know this is kind of heavy stuff, but it's important. So that was Scientist Links Human Consciousness. Okay, so this is a new, just from February 3rd, 2025. Quantum experiment reveals light existing in dozens of dimensions. So the paradox at the heart of quantum physics has been tested in an extraordinary fashion, pushing the boundaries of human intuition beyond the breaking point by measuring a pulse of light in 37 dimensions. The findings clarify how quantum weirdness, because nobody can explain quantum physics, haven't been able to explain it, weirdness operate on a fundamental level, potentially informing future applications in quantum technology. Not to mention reaffirming just how useless our brains are at understanding the operations manual for our universe's engine. So I thought that was fascinating because I've said all along that there are, and physicists have said this for years, this isn't something I didn't come to. Now these scientists are observing light in 37 dimensions. We don't know so much about what's happening in the universe. It's incredible what we don't know. And for our small little human minds who've really only had scientific technology for a couple hundred years, and the universe is 14 billion years old, it's pretty egotistical for us to think we have all the answers. We don't have all the answers. Hi, Sammy. I'm on YouTube as well if you want to join over there. I'm talking about Science Proves Mediumship is Real. So we don't know everything. Give me a wave. Let me know you're still here on YouTube because it's still on my YouTube studio. So if somebody could just comment hello, so I am not just talking to myself, I would appreciate that. So I'm just waiting for a comment on YouTube to make sure I'm still being seen. Let me know, let me know. Kelly, is that you? Okay. I don't see a comment, but just, okay, hi. All right, perfect. Thank you. All right, so the next article is from Popular Mechanics. Now, people get weird on social media. Oh, it's Popular Mechanics. Well, it's quoting scientific journal articles, so everybody needs to just relax about it. Your very own consciousness can interact with the whole universe, scientists believe. A recent experiment suggests the brain is not too warm or wet for consciousness to exist as a quantum wave that connects to the rest of the universe. I mean, I don't even know. There's really nothing else to say about it. Like, that's it. That's the thing. Okay. So, we are made of quantum particles called quanta, and our consciousness is made of that. And so we can't not, I'm using a double negative on purpose, we can't not be connected to the consciousness of people whose bodies have passed on, but their soul has moved into another dimension or realm, unseen by most people. So, Elise says, everyone is so attached to the physical and don't get it. This is great info. Hard to swallow, but indeed fact. Thank you. I appreciate that, because this is so important for people to understand from a scientific perspective that mediumship is real and exists, and the connection is more powerful and profound. Mandy, thank you for telling me that, because I'm having something weird on my end too. Is anybody else experiencing the live going on and off? Maybe I have too many tabs open. Let me close some of these tabs that I already looked at. But I love the very own consciousness. Yeah, because my viewers keep going like 10 to 3. I don't know. It's weird. Your very own consciousness can interact with the whole universe. When people talk about consciousness, it's always a bit nebulous, whether we create consciousness in our brains as a function of our neurons firing, or consciousness exists independently of us. There's no universally accepted scientific explanation for where it comes from or where it lives. However, new research on physics, anatomy, and geometry of consciousness has begun to reveal its possible form. This work builds on Nobel Prize-winning physicist Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff. So if anybody wants links to these articles, oh, okay, that's interesting. If anybody wants links to these articles, I will link them after the live stream ends. Because what I'm seeing on my YouTube page is the live stream's not running at all. But on my third-party app that I have to use, OBS, to make the live stream run, it's working fine. So I don't know what's going on. It could be. Is anybody else having issues with the live stream going on and off? Hi, everyone on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. You can join me there, or feel free to stay here. Any questions about this so far? I know it's heavy stuff, but it's important for us to know. Okay, so In SciTech Daily, groundbreaking study affirms quantum basis for consciousness, a paradigm shift in understanding human nature. Now, all of these articles are based on scientific journal articles. But scientific journal articles are often embargoed and they're behind a paywall. You have to pay colleges and other organizations to get the information so other people read them and write articles about them. That's what people don't understand is also. For decades, one of the most fundamental and vexing questions in neuroscience has been, what is the physical basis of consciousness in the brains? Most researchers favor classical models based on classical physics, while others have argued that consciousness must be quantum in nature and that its brain basis is a collective quantum vibration of proteins inside neurons. There you go. There you go. Oh, Lise, that's a great question. Instantaneous. She said, how long does it take to tune in when you get a client in front of you? So I'm on YouTube, everybody, but you feel free to stay here. When I have a client in front of me, I always do a meditation prior to every single reading. So before every reading, I turn on my HemiSync music. I have my little notepad. I go into a meditative state. I breathe. I lift my awareness. I connect to spirit. I invite them into my elevated consciousness. And someone shows up immediately. Sometimes 3 or 4 people show up immediately. I very rarely have an issue connecting with someone. There are reasons that may happen. Sometimes it's me. Sometimes I try to do a reading when I'm sick. Sometimes I try to do a reading when I'm under stress. But if I'm in my right state of mind and I'm not sick, I can connect immediately. So, and it should be any developed medium who's had training and has done many readings should be able to connect immediately. If they can't connect immediately once in a while, that's not unusual because we all have human stuff going on. Kelly wants to know, how would you explain a joule? It's a measure of electrical energy. Joule, a measure for those of you who can't see the comments. Joule. I'm also on YouTube, Marcy, if you want to join over there. A joule is just a measure of electrical energy. That's it. I don't know if you want me to reference that in another way. Let me know. Okay, so exploring the quantum basis of consciousness. We read that one. And the other one, the entire universe may be a neural network. Neural networks are networks in our brain. And so the entire universe, which is very, very, very big. Yeah, it's on. Mm-hmm. Go out and come back. Or join me on YouTube. So some scientists are doing studies that the entire universe may be a neural network. So I'm going to read a physics professor at the University of Minnesota Duluth named Vitaly Venturin attempts to reframe reality in a particularly eye-opening way, suggesting we're living inside a massive neural network that governs everything around us. In other words, the possibility is the entire universe on its most fundamental level is a neural network. And so what I've been saying for a long time is the universe is a collective consciousness. It's a collection of consciousness from every sentient being in the universe. We're all connected. That's weird. I'm sorry. I don't know. My mic is on. Can you hear me? I'm sorry. Try me on YouTube. Souls and Spirits. Who is the most famous scientist that also endorses psychic abilities? Well, probably Stuart Hameroff. And I think Michio Kaku also is, whether he knows he's a proponent of it or not, by the things he states, he is. So I would say those two for sure. There's many more. Yeah, look up Michio Kaku in consciousness for sure. And then another article is Unlocking the Secrets of Consciousness. New brain imaging study illuminates critical connections. Hold on, I gotta write a note over here. Can you go to YouTube? I'm sorry. People on my other app can't hear me. Okay. A study published, blah, 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 introduces a connectivity map of the brain network. The map, the researchers suggest, is essential for maintaining human consciousness. The study involved high-resolution scans that enabled researchers to visualize the brain connections at sub-millimeter spatial resolution. This technical advance allowed them to identify unseen pathways, including parts of the brainstem, thalamus, hypothalamus, etc., etc. So that it goes on and on. I get kind of stuck on the science stuff. I could just read that all day long. Ooh, what exactly do you see when you see the dead people talking? Great question. I see them in full color. I hear them inside my mind, occasionally a little bit outside, but mostly inside my mind. I see them just like you're seeing me on the screen. It's not 100% as clear, but it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear. The first experience I had was full color. A gentleman, I have permission from his mother to share the story. He passed away that day. He came to me in a vision when I lay down to take a nap. His name is Brandon. I had seen him once as a newborn, and he was 25 at the time of his passing. And he had a red sweater, a gold chain, short black hair. I saw his face as just as clear as you're seeing mine in my mind's eye. And he said, "Tell my mom I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it." Turns out he passed from an overdose. So when I see them, I can see full color. I can see many details depending on the connection. Sometimes they are more translucent. Sometimes they're just an outline. Every connection's a little different. But I do have the ability to see them in full color. Hold on just a minute. Okay, Carol. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I don't know why my Facebook, I don't know if they've muted me over there or what, because I'm double streaming, because, you know, they have weird stuff going on over there. Souls and Spirits. Do they tell you the names, dates, and specifics? And when you get that info, do you always know who the reading is for? So if I'm doing a one-on-one, yes, I know. And I get names occasionally. Not every medium gets names. The other types of evidence make up for that. I'm terrible at names in my human life. So it doesn't surprise me that I'm not the greatest at names in my mediumship practice, but they do come occasionally. And when they come, they're usually right. Occasionally, I get dates like the number 7 for July or the 7th of a month, or like 102 could be October 2nd. So, yeah, occasionally that happens. But most of what I get are details. So, the important part in a mediumship reading are details that aren't Googleable, right? So, for example, I was giving a reading to a woman, and her grandma came into my awareness, and I could see piles and piles, and I said, I feel your grandma's here, and she's showing me piles and piles of wedding tulle. And it turns out she was a wedding seamstress her whole life. And that's something, that 30, 40 years ago you couldn't Google, right? There's no way I would have been able to know that. Hi, Cheyenne. If there are more than 2 people getting a reading. Usually I can feel the energy move towards one person or the other. It just takes practice and lots of readings to get that. Sometimes some spirits come through and they're very vague, and it's very hard to get information from them. And sometimes they're sitting here and they're like blah 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 blah. Sometimes they're talking so fast I can't keep up. It varies. It varies. So when people come in, do they show you scenes of stuff or come in as people and tell you what to say? Again, it varies. It varies. Hi, Patty. Sometimes they come in, I know exactly who they are to the sitter. I know what the relationship is. I know how they passed. I know what their job was. I know what their hobbies were. And then they just send me a stream of information and healing messages and important messages and what the mother was doing earlier today, feeding the cat, and they lost their collar, and, things that are happening, mundane life things that are happening to the person, to the sitter, that they didn't put on Facebook, right? Like the cat's collar fell off in the water bottle, into the water tray. Like that's things like that. That's like an unusual mundane thing that proves that they were there with the person that day. It's not that they tell me what to say. They're just like feeding me information about whatever, like the cat in the collar or the lady with the tool. One time I was giving a reading and I could see the little boy in spirit who had pictures of himself with Woody and Jessie at Disney World. And the mom insisted that never happened. And then an hour after the reading sent me a picture of it because she was so anxious about the reading she forgot. Now, I would have never known that. So, yes, the only way to fully grasp how the communication happens in different ways and forms is to do readings. That's the only way. And the biggest problem I have with my students is getting them to do readings. So you have to do it's like, if you're a sports fan, and I know some of you are and some of you aren't, if you want to play football, but you never go to practice and you show up at the game and you get your leg broken because you didn't work out and you didn't go to practice and you didn't know the plays. Or if you're an author of a book and you never learned grammar or how to make a story arc, but then you write a book and it's terrible. You have to practice whatever you're doing. So any last, my Facebook went, I don't know what happened over there. It just shut me off. So I don't know. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Cheyenne. Cheyenne said, I have received some amazing messages from you. My mom, too. Your gift is so amazing. There's only one thing we still can't figure out. It's come up more than once, so it has to mean something. Well, speaking of that, I do have a buy one, get one free special right now for my readings. So if anybody wants to book a reading, my 30 and 45-minute readings are buy one, get one free. So if you book that, peacefulnickthemedium.com, it's going across the screen, you'll get a free reading. And you can gift that reading to someone else. You don't have to use both of them for yourself. So I'm looking for my Burt's Bees. Any questions? I'm running out of steam. So don't forget, buy one, get one free. I do also for February have love and relationship guidance. Now I'm not doing love predictions, but just guidance on relationships. All right, I'll wait a few more seconds. Oh, good. Thank you, Cheyenne. Yeah, buy one, get one free for February. Yep. And I'm going to be recording. I've been on a few podcasts. Jeffrey Peck, most recently. It's on YouTube and all other streaming services. The Unbelief podcast with Jeremy Steele. The Somebody Like You podcast. And I'm filming a podcast with somebody. I don't want to say who it is yet. I'm filming another podcast as a guest with someone else on Friday, and I'm super excited about it. Oh, thank you, Patty. Thank you, Kelly. You guys are so awesome. All right. Well, if there's no more Science Proves Mediumship, I hope everybody learned something. I hope you learned that Science Proves Mediumship is real. And if it's not absolute proof, they're getting there. They're getting closer and closer and closer. And I will see you guys all every Wednesday on YouTube at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, most Wednesdays. Last Wednesday I was sick. And I'm just feeling better. So I look forward to seeing you guys all again. Thank you for all the questions and comments. And thank you for my friends and loved ones who joined tonight and my clients. I appreciate you more than you know. You make my life better. And I'm just eternally grateful. So thank you and good night, everybody. Bye.